Here's something most people don't know. A study reviewing over 1,000 blood samples from adults between 65 and 93 found that more than half were not getting enough vitamin D, and 1 in 4 had a vitamin B12 deficiency. Not rare conditions, not extreme cases, more than half, 1 in 4. The reason isn't that older adults are eating carelessly. It's that the aging body absorbs, converts, and stores certain nutrients less efficiently than it once did. You can eat the same foods you've eaten for decades and still be running low on the vitamins your brain, bones, and heart depend on most. Welcome to Eat Well, Age Well. Today we're covering 7 vitamins that research consistently identifies as critical for people over 65. What they do, why deficiency is so common, and how to address it. And as always, before starting any new supplement, please talk to your doctor. Some vitamins interact with medications, and your doctor can test your actual levels to confirm what you need. Vitamin number 7, A. Vitamin K. Vitamin K doesn't get nearly the attention it deserves, and for people over 65, that's a real problem. There are 2 main forms. Vitamin K1, found in leafy greens, is primarily involved in blood clotting. Vitamin K2, found in fermented foods and some animal products, plays a critical role in directing calcium to where it belongs, your bones and teeth, rather than your arteries. Research has found that adequate vitamin K2 intake is associated with reduced arterial calcification and better bone mineral density, 2 issues that become increasingly serious after 65. The NIH notes that older adults, especially women post-menopause, are among the groups most at risk of insufficient vitamin K intake. If you eat leafy greens regularly, spinach, kale, broccoli, you're covering K1 reasonably well. K2 is harder to get from food unless you eat fermented foods like natto or certain aged cheeses. If you don't, a K2 supplement is worth discussing with your doctor, particularly alongside vitamin D. The 2 work together closely. One important flag: if you take blood thinners like warfarin, do not change your vitamin K intake without first talking to your physician. It directly affects how that medication works. Vitamin number 6. Vitamin C. Vitamin C is one most people feel confident they're getting enough of and many aren't. Beyond its well-known role in immune function, vitamin C is essential for collagen synthesis, which means it's directly involved in maintaining the integrity of your skin, blood vessels, cartilage, and connective tissue, all of which become more vulnerable after 65. It's also a potent antioxidant that helps neutralize oxidative stress, one of the driving forces behind chronic inflammation and cellular aging. National nutrition data shows that many older Americans fall short of adequate vitamin C intake, particularly those who eat fewer fresh fruits and vegetables or who smoke, as smoking significantly depletes vitamin C levels. Food first. Bell peppers, strawberries, citrus fruits, broccoli, and kiwi are all excellent sources. If your diet is limited in fresh produce, a modest vitamin C supplement, 250 to 500 milligrams daily, is safe for most people and covers the gap effectively. Vitamin number 5. Magnesium. Technically a mineral, not a vitamin E, but it earns its place on this list because magnesium deficiency in older adults is both common and significantly underrecognized. Magnesium is involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in the body. It regulates blood pressure, supports heart rhythm, helps muscles contract and relax properly, and plays a direct role in bone density by helping the body use calcium and vitamin D effectively. 2 things make deficiency more likely after 65. The kidneys become less efficient at conserving magnesium, and common medications, including proton pump inhibitors and certain diuretics, actively deplete it. A 2021 systematic review published in BMC Complementary Medicine and Therapies found that magnesium supplementation improved sleep quality in older adults with insomnia. Given how common sleep disruption is after 65, this is one of the most practically relevant findings in senior nutrition research. Food sources: dark leafy greens, nuts, seeds, legumes, and dark chocolate. If your diet doesn't reliably cover these, magnesium glycinate or magnesium citrate are well-absorbed supplement forms worth discussing with your doctor. Vitamin number 4, vitamin B6. Vitamin B6 is involved in more than 100 enzymatic reactions in the body, including the production of serotonin, dopamine, and other neurotransmitters that regulate mood, sleep, and cognitive function. After 65, B6 requirements actually increase while absorption tends to decline. The NIH recommends that adults over 50 get 1.7 milligrams per day for men and 1.5 milligrams for women, slightly higher than the general adult recommendation. Low B6 is associated with increased levels of homocysteine, an amino acid that at elevated levels is linked to cardiovascular disease, stroke risk, and cognitive decline. Getting adequate B6, together with folate and B12, helps keep homocysteine levels in check. Food sources include poultry, fish, potatoes, bananas, and fortified cereals. B6 is also commonly included in B-complex supplements, which is often the most practical way to cover multiple B vitamins together. Vitamin number 3, omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3s are technically essential fatty acids rather than vitamins, but they appear on every serious list of nutrients that seniors need more of, so they earn their place here. We've covered omega-3s in several previous videos on this channel, for inflammation, for blood pressure, for arthritis. The reason they keep coming up is simple. The evidence behind them is among the strongest in all of nutritional science for people over 65. EPA and DHA, the long-chain omega-3s found in fatty fish, protect the cardiovascular system, reduce systemic inflammation, support cognitive function, and have been specifically endorsed by the American Heart Association for secondary cardiovascular prevention. Most Americans over 65 don't get close to adequate levels through diet alone. 2 servings of fatty fish per week covers it through food. If fish isn't a regular part of your diet, a high-quality fish oil supplement in the 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams EPA plus DHA range is one of the most evidence-backed supplements an older adult can take, again, with your doctor's knowledge, particularly if you're on blood thinners. Vitamin number 2, vitamin B12. 1 in 4 adults over 65 is deficient in B12, and because the symptoms, fatigue, memory problems, tingling in the hands and feet, mood changes, can easily be mistaken for normal aging, the deficiency often goes undetected for years. That matters enormously. A 2025 study published in Annals of Neurology by UCSF researchers found that B12 levels, even within the currently accepted normal range, were linked to slower cognitive processing and white matter damage in older adults, suggesting that the threshold for what counts as adequate may need to be revised upward. B12 deficiency is a well-documented cause of peripheral neuropathy, cognitive decline, and in severe cases, irreversible neurological damage. The reason it's so common after 65 is that B12 absorption requires adequate stomach acid and a protein called intrinsic factor ISAC, both of which decline with age. People taking metformin for diabetes or proton pump inhibitors for acid reflux are at even higher risk, as these medications further impair B12 absorption. Food sources, meat, fish, eggs, dairy, are abundant in Western diets, but the absorption problem means food alone often isn't enough. Sublingual B12 supplements, which dissolve under the tongue and bypass the absorption issue in the gut, are often more effective for older adults than standard oral tablets. Ask your doctor to check your B12 level at your next appointment. It's a simple blood test and one of the most actionable things you can do for your brain health. Vitamin number 1, vitamin D. Over 40% of adults over 65 are deficient in vitamin D. It is the single most widespread nutrient deficiency in older Americans, and its effects touch virtually every system in the body. Most people associate vitamin D with bone health, and that association is correct. It works in tandem with calcium to maintain bone density and reduce fracture risk. But vitamin D's role goes significantly further than that. It influences immune function, muscle strength, balance, cardiovascular health, and mood regulation. Research has shown that seniors with adequate vitamin D levels have meaningfully stronger leg muscles and better physical performance than those who are deficient, directly relevant to fall prevention, one of the most serious health risks for people over 65. The reason deficiency is so common is that the aging body produces about 75% less vitamin D from sun exposure than a younger body does, even with the same amount of time outdoors. And natural food sources of vitamin D are limited. Fatty fish, egg yolks, and fortified dairy cover some of it, but rarely enough. Most experts recommend that adults over 65 take between 800 and 2,000 IU of vitamin D3 daily, with the specific dose ideally guided by a blood test, since requirements vary significantly between individuals. Vitamin D3 is the preferred form as it's more effective at raising blood levels than D2. 7 nutrients every senior over 65 should pay close attention to: vitamin K, vitamin C, magnesium, vitamin B6, omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin B12, and vitamin D. The consistent theme across all 7 is the same. The aging body becomes less efficient at absorbing and using these nutrients, even when diet doesn't change. Awareness and, where appropriate, supplementation with your doctor's guidance closes that gap. Get your levels tested. That's the single most useful thing you can take away from this video. A basic blood panel can identify deficiencies you might not feel yet, and addressing them early makes a real difference. Subscribe for a new video every week. See you next week.